What they're gonna do is come back with some guys and kill you. Which, sure as you're born, they will do. Unless I stop them. Do you want me to stop them?
Is something I can't do personally?
Look out for Charlie.
I'm gonna bring the whole fucking diseased, corrupt temple down on your head.
So, they are still looking for the I-75 shooter. Still going after him, right? Like I said in the last video, they are going to find him, if they ever find his body, in a area like a pond or somewhere out in the wilderness, probably in water, where he is so decomposed that they cannot find a cause of death. Or he's just going to vanish completely, and this is going to start a wave of shooters where the person just completely disappears. Like a 411 case, like the Lars Matank case, where he runs off into the woods and he's never seen again. That's the kind of shit this could start. And then when it happens again, people are so stupid, they'll look back and they'll go,
yeah, but, you know, look what happened to Joseph Couch. You know, he vanished.
You know, they're talking about these text messages that he sent to people. I want you to see this. He allegedly messaged someone,
I'm going to kill a lot of people. Well, try at least.
Right? Put yourself in that position. Who is going to text that? Well, try at least, you know, and then sends a message.
I'll kill myself afterwards.
It's like a script. Like they're telling people what they're going to do to form a narrative of what's going on. And this happened, you know, 30 minutes before it started. This is just like the Audrey Hale manifesto, which is clearly not written by Audrey Hale. It was written by somebody else entirely. It's goofy. And so is this. It makes no sense at all. It just tells you what they're going to do. And like I said in the last video, he left the rifle behind so that they would know what kind of rifle it was. Even though he bought at least, you know, 1,000 rounds of ammunition. It's crazy. It's just crazy. So what they need to prove, we know that you can spoof a phone. You can absolutely clone a SIM card and send these texts. How do we know for certain? Because these people, when this kind of shit happens, they act like that's impossible and that cannot happen, and he texted this for sure. We don't know that for sure, man. We don't know if he texted this shit for sure. Someone else could have done it. So you wait for somebody to buy an AR rifle, right? And let's pretend that you're some kind of operator or you're just a sicko or whatever. Whatever your motive is, it happens, okay? So let's pretend that this guy buys an AR rifle and someone kills him and disposes of the body or puts the body in some wildly random location, like out in the woods in a pond where he'll be found completely decomposed. And then afterwards, they have his phone, have control of his phone, text some messages, then they pop off some shots at people and run into the woods, and that's it. And then they're looking for Joseph Couch. I'm not saying that happened. I'm saying it can happen, and people have motives to make that happen. So how do we know, how do we even know that that was Joseph Couch at all? We don't know. They could have taken him out beforehand and texted from his phone, because these text messages are ridiculous. He's going to kill a lot of people. Well, try at least. And then I'll kill myself afterwards. It's like a to-do list that they're sending somebody to have a to-do list. It's ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. But I'm telling you, if they ever find the body, they are going to find him probably in water, and he's going to be well decomposed, just like Brian Laundrie. And a lot of these people that are found after the fact, you know, with the Brian Laundrie case, in a place where they had searched over and over and over, and there he is, you know, oops, we somehow missed him in 4 inches of water. You know, it's ridiculous. Now I want to talk about 1970s, 1980s, 1990s mentality and how that kind of bleeds into the 21st century. It's very scary to me. I was talking about, you know, James Holmes and Myra May, Aaron Alexis, all these different people a few days ago. I was talking to a few people about it, and someone said to me it's just hard for me to believe that over 300 million people in the United States, and they just pick this guy, to fuck with. And I was like, wow, you still believe that you are somehow anonymous and you're picked out. Let's say that you're sending text messages, all right, and you believe that there's over 300 million people in the United States. No one cares about me. That's not how it works anymore, man. Pretend that there is a big filter out there, because there is, and all your text messages, everyone's text messages go through this filter. Okay, every single text message goes through this filter. All right, there are key words that they look for. There are lots of things. In the James Holmes, Myra May, and Aaron Alexis cases, for example, they all had reasons to be on radar. James Holmes was part of an elite neuroscience group. Myra May was a prosecutor. And Aaron Alexis had security clearances for the government before all this happened to them. So they all had reasons to be on radar. But just a random person is not anonymous anymore. And there's a reason why, and that's keywords. All right? Let's talk about it for a minute. I want you to really understand this from a street level. So let's say that you've got text messages firing off all the time. Let's say those text messages are with the company that you subscribe to, all right? Or they're just from some app, from some independent app. They're all being ran through and scanned. So are your emails, everything that you type. Everything is going through a filter. And it has been since 9/11, at least, right? So sure, back in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, they would need a wiretap. Someone would have to look into you. And yes, people were more anonymous. But now, things are way different. So if your neighbor is sending out texts with keywords like food, home, kids, car, tennis, gym, Facebook, lake, boat, marina, boss, football, hockey, neighbors, no one's going to care. It's not going to set off any flags because no one has to look through them. It's AI. The computer flags them. They flag keywords, right? But if your text messages have something like, Patriot or Patriot Act or coward or Constitution or HARP or ionosphere, traitor, 5G, weapons, weaponized, AR, commies, etc., like all those things, that is going to set off keywords, and then someone is going to look at them because they're going to be flagged a bunch of times, and someone's going to go, oh, okay, we got to watch this guy, he knows what's up. That's how it works, man. That is how it works. And when you buy a weapon, going back to the I-75 guy, when you buy a weapon, you're put through a federal database immediately. Who you are, where you live, you're buying a gun, they know it, right? So if somebody was up to no good, they could act immediately. And as far as this, every bit of information you put out being sent through filters, the NSA has told you this for years. There used to be a website that had NSA keywords that they look for, and guess what? Ionosphere was really one of those words. Here's a website that gives a couple of the keywords that they were looking for back then. And now, they're a lot worse now, and you have to realize that. But back then, man, dictionary was a keyword. Sweeping, ionosphere, military intelligence, and anything that you type in, AR, whatever, is going to get flagged. It might be sitting in a, on a server somewhere, and then once you have tripped so many keywords, right, let's say 10 or more keywords, then somebody, human eyes, will come and look at it. That's what they're doing, man. You're not anonymous. It doesn't matter if there's 300 million people, if every single text message and every single email and web search is being scoured through and looked at. And these people don't get it, man. It is terrifying that these people don't get it. They still think they are anonymous or too little to be fucked with in 2024. Those people that say, yeah, but why them? Why you? Why these guys? They have no idea what's going on, man. It is absolutely crazy that they think like this still. It is crazy. Like that guy that I was talking to that said, I just don't get how they could be picked out of over 300 million people. How did the people get picked for MK Ultra? They randomly walked into hospitals. It's insane thinking. It really is. They can build a psychological profile on you, a full psychological profile, just by watching what you do online for a couple months, if that. I was talking once about putting people into an open world video game like Grand Theft Auto and how you can build a psychological profile based on that. And someone I knew that I was talking to said, no, you can't do that. You couldn't do that. And I was like, what are you talking about? You put somebody in an open world game and you can absolutely build a psychological profile on them from their gameplay and what they do. Do they take risks? It amazed me that this person couldn't see that. But your behavior online and your behavior in open world video games can be absolutely linked back to your behavior in the real world, whether people realize that or not. Now, recently, I put out a video about the UFO connection that Dave Paulides talks about, and who is keeping you primitive, technology, and deception. And I talked about a case in which Dave Paulides and a guy on Missing 411, the UFO connection, they talk about this guy who was told by aliens to dig a well on his property, and he dug, and there was water there. Well, I spent the video going over the fact that that technology actually exists to do everything that they talked about and has existed for 30, 40 years. Well, recently, just a video or two ago, Dave came out and strangely, he reaffirmed that. And he said that people were talking about it, but I went through his comments and I didn't see that at all. He said that people were saying it's nothing. He says he gets pissed off or ticked off and said that it is something. Well, as far as I saw, no one was saying anything. But what I was saying in this video, I'll link to it below as well. But what I was saying in this video is that, yeah, those things happen. They happen all the time to people like Greg Giles. But all the technology exists and has existed to fuck with these people like this and get them to do crazy shit. It's just another arm of what is happening to a lot of people out there, especially people that commit murder and people think would never commit murder. They just, snap within a week and do something crazy, right? They're always hearing voices driving them nuts that won't let them sleep. These things are 24 hours a day. But yeah, Dave came out and reiterated it and said it's not nothing, but I was the only one really talking about it. It's kind of weird. He mentions a few things, and he began talking about technology. I'm like, wait a minute, you better be careful talking about this technology, because this is the technology that they are using to dupe a lot of people, including a lot of people that believe it's UFOs. It's a very dangerous line you're walking when you're selling UFO stuff. Now, I want to talk about speech. On a street level, I want to talk about legal speech and masterful speaking. This is very, very important. When someone says something like space, they don't have to mean outer space, man. They can literally be talking about the space in front of you and not say anything else. No one ever mentions outer space, right? Let's talk about how it's used, all right? To protect and serve, or serve and protect. I'm here to serve and protect, or I'm here to protect and serve. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. They're not saying who they are there to protect or who they are there to serve. You need to realize that in speaking. Pay attention to that with politicians and anyone who is speaking to the public. They always use this kind of speak, and you have to pay attention to it. If you understand it, you can understand pattern recognition and realize that somebody can do an entire 15-minute interview and never say anything. I listened to Hillary Clinton speak once, and the entire time she was talking, she never ever said anything that nailed her down to being obligated to do anything about anything. And that is masterful speaking. And it's not just her, it's everybody. So Let's say that somebody like a Fauci type or somebody who is a total eugenicist that wants to take out 95% of the population, okay? They can get on TV and they can say something like, the health and survival of the American people is one of my biggest concerns. Now, if a moron heard that, they would believe that this person is on our side, man. He is on our side and he cares about us and what happens to us. Well, they kind of do, but not the way you think. Listen to it again. The health and survival of the American people is one of my biggest concerns. It never said anything about good health and keeping you alive. This could be somebody who wants to commit mass murder. Could say, the health and survival of the American people is one of my biggest concerns. See what I'm saying? Pay attention to what is being said to you. Now, police and military will be told things like, you've been chosen because of your personality and intelligence. And they'll take it as a big compliment, right? That doesn't mean that you're very smart or that you're elite or that you have a great personality and great intelligence. You could have scored really well in the obedience area, right? And very low in intelligence, but just enough to do the job in the right way. Your personality is very obedient, so they chose you because your personality and your intelligence. Do you understand? This is masterful speaking. This is legal speak. This is what is used all the time. Another example is Freud on the Irish. He said that the Irish are impervious to psychoanalysis. Now, I don't believe in psychoanalysis, but the Irish are very proud of that for some reason. They go around and they repeat that. Most of them saw it on The Departed, which proves that people learn a lot of their facts in movies, you know? And then they go, well, how could somebody believe that? It's a movie. But they learn all their shit from movies. So these Irish people will walk around being very proud of the fact that the Irish are impervious to psychoanalysis. That is not a compliment, man. Freud was a supremacist, and he was a very racist person if you get into it. Very, very racist, very supremacist. He hated a lot of people. By saying that the Irish are impervious to psychoanalysis, he's saying that the Irish are too stupid to analyze. That is what he's really saying. So you better understand this before you start repeating things like,
I thought you were here to protect and serve.
They never said who they were serving and protecting, ever. None of these things are what they seem. When people talk, slogans, all of that. If you look at it, it's just legal speak. It's masterful speaking. One of the big jokes in the past was, I'm from the government, I'm here to help. Yeah, but when somebody said that from the government, they never said who they were there to help, who they were helping, why they were helping, or what they were really doing, or what the goal or the objective actually was. So if you really understand this, you have to nail people down into what they are really saying. You have to nail them down and get them to say what their goal is, or what they are doing, or why they are saying something. If you let people get away with legal speak or masterful speaking, you are letting them practically get away with murder, because they will do it all day. I don't usually do this, but if you can donate, please donate. I've got a lot of stuff I want to do. I need to get on Twitter, and I've got quite a few plans for some good stuff, proactive stuff. So if you can donate, donate. I appreciate it. That's it for now. Look out for Charlie. That's it for now. Look out for Charlie.
Oh man, I like this kid. This fucking guy's crazy.
Look out for Charlie.
Charlie, what that son of a bitch did. I want him dead.